And I did tell you I was going to get into Jonathan Oddi, so I guess we're going to do that right now, real quick. This, like I said, we didn't really have much tonight, but we might as well go the distance. We might as well go the distance here. So let's bring up Mr. Oddi, Jonathan Oddi. I'm gonna go right back. Start right from the actual interview. You see, okay. So to bring context to some that don't know what we're looking at here, okay? So Jonathan Oddi was the interrogated Donald Trump shooter, okay? So Jonathan Oddi had got caught basically running around. I forgot where this actual was, but he was pretty much running around this little part right here, and he got into a shootout with the police or whatever. And he was pretty much doing like a what do you call it? A refugee move, to where he had even put the American flag up and was getting into the shootout with the police. I forgot exactly how it actually went, but pretty much in a nutshell, when Jonathan Oddi got caught and interrogated, he pretty much let out a lot of information that the police was like, what exactly are you even talking about right now? And one of the bits of information he talked about was Diddy, Khaled, and Ross being gay, him being a sex worker for Diddy while Cassie was around, him having sex with Diddy, him even getting a rape case at one against Diddy. Okay, he said he sued for herpes. Not against Diddy, against Usher, excuse me. And that was another thing too. I had pointed out that Oddi was the actual John Doe that sued Usher for the herpes. Okay, and he won. He said that literally in this interrogation. You're going to hear him say that he sued for herpes and won. Okay. But Jonathan Oddi is one of those people that, like I said, was, he knows a lot. And I wonder if the CIA or FBI has him still.
Stormy's story is bad news because it's embarrassing. That's why he's going crazy with that. It's not that Diddy and Ross and Khaled, they're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter. Okay?
Who supporter?
Hamas.
Hamas. Yeah. Gotcha.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No.
Hamas supporter. Okay? I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot.
Hidden in plain sight.
It's hidden.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the b.l.a.c. The b.l.a.c is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people. Okay. I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist. Okay, you my brother. So
as you heard just now, he said, okay, he confirmed that Diddy is part of the b.l.a.c. Now, we covered who the b.l.a.c is. The b.l.a.c is pretty much the black Illuminati. Okay. Yes, the black part of the Illuminati. Yes, they segregate even the Illuminati. Ain't that some shit? So the b.l.a.c is pretty much, you would say, Jay-Z, Diddy, Ross, anyone who's a minority is in the b.l.a.c. Okay. And then, of course, the 13 bloodlines would be the actual Illuminati.
I like black people.
Okay.
My mom, I was raised by an African woman in my house. Okay. She was just a servant, but she was she took care of me.
Right.
So I love black people.
Okay.
I had settlement with Sean. Okay. Against Donald Trump. Okay, because he used to belong to their side. You understand? He used to belong to that illuminated group that I told you.
Oh, so you saw Steve Huff at the U.S. Open. Ain't that some shit? I mean, I would definitely believe it. The guy's worth $2.5 billion. But yes, we're going to get into Mr. Steve Huff here in just a shortly.
Which is an elite group, okay, of individuals which run the whole country. All right.
Basically,
what I did Did you tell him how? Did you explain to him about the message? Or
No, please elaborate.
On Thursday, turning to Friday, basically, I went to Donald Trump. I went through the gates. I took I jumped the fence and I took the American flag and I put it in the front desk and I blew the chandelier. Basically, what I did that for is to transmit a statement to the American people and to Donald Trump that we're not accepting any more corruption and abuse from their system of friends. Okay? Donald's still blind because he thinks that he let Hillary off the hook and she's okay. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm trying, okay. Keep going.
It ain't like that. The CIA and then they want to do the same thing that he did to JFK. Okay?
Alright.
Why? Because they want the United States to fall. They've already been creating a state of chaos and confusion in the United States and they want the United States to fall. Donald was against their agenda.
So you hear that, right? Excuse me. So you hear that? Pretty much. They want the United States to fall. They want America to fall. Okay? The fall of Babylon is pretty much inevitable. All right? That's in Revelations, that America falls. Okay? So Jonathan Oddi is pretty much saying that what he did was pretty much to take a stand against Trump. But Trump is pretty much not necessarily for the American people, but he's also against the agenda of the fall of America. So Oddi's pretty much whistleblowing about all of that shit.
And won the presidency, okay? He did get help from Russia. He did get help from the Saudis. He also got help from a lot of Republicans.
So he got help from, ain't that something? So he actually got help. Well, I mean, we actually knew he got help from Putin, of course. We knew he got help from Putin to win the election. But I didn't know that he got help from Saudi Arabia to win the election. That's a lot of money right there. That's really where the money came from to even invest. He's been getting the money from Saudi Arabia.
In here, which is the electoral college vote. And he got a lot of support from Republican people. Okay? The elections, yeah, they weren't fair, but he wanted the electoral college vote.
Right.
Which is the Republican vote, basically. He got him through, okay? Mm-hmm. He didn't get the popular vote.
Right,
okay?
Right. I hear you.
So basically, the interior, he made it. He's president-elect by the electoral college. So he made it. The situation is that he still hasn't kicked out the corruption from the system. He's letting them stay due to money, basically. Because they all like making money. That's why they're all billionaires, etc. So there's only there's select few of that run the country. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you may or may not.
Wait, slow down. Ferry B. So you saying this is the guy that was at the U.S. Open, not Steve Huff? Is that what you're saying? Is that Jonathan Oddi was the guy? Or was it Steve Huff? Who did you see at the U.S. Open though? Real quick before I hit the play button. Because you said you saw you found a picture of him. I just want to know if it was Oddi that was at the U.S. Open or was it Steve Huff that you saw? Because that kind of matters. If it was Oddi, let me know if it was Oddi.
I know you're gonna believe me. You have what's called the Illuminati.
Illuminati.
Okay. Yeah, Illuminati. Okay. They've made it in dance. Basically, what it means, illuminated.
I got you.
Okay. They do satanic ritual abuse, which is basically CIA mind programming techniques to their own family, kids, etc. They're in the group, and they bond that way. Okay, so they do sexual pedophilia, they do animal abuse, killing of animals, blood sacrifices, and everything in the Bohemian Grove.
That's my point. That's my point. But whatever. That was my point, Zane. That's my point. That's my point. Because they've been saying that Oddi is dead. They pretty much have been saying since last year that they killed Oddi. And I'm wondering now too, if they still have him or did they kill him off because of this whole video right here that's out. Because this video incriminates more than just Diddy. This video was very incriminating to Donald Trump, who is running for president right now. So I too wondered how true that was. And that's why I said I wondered if that was who you had saw at the US Open, if it was Steve Huff. Yes, I hope so. I hope Jonathan Oddi is not dead. I hope Jonathan Oddi is not dead. There was a whole fake obituary of him. There's an if you Google Jonathan Oddi, you matter of fact, show you something. Doo-doo-doo. Closed out. Ah, here it is. This is it right here. Yep. Okay, this was it. I don't know why I can't see the whole damn thing. I don't know why I can't see the whole goddamn thing. Matter of fact, let me pull up this is a better one here. Actually. It's a better one right here. So they don't want to show the whole thing. I don't know why this is they can't show the whole thing. It's on the Hamilton Spectator, I believe it says. But this is all it is right here. It just says Jonathan Michael Oddi. But then I'm looking at the date of it too that it was published, which throws me off. That's why I said there's some type of fake obituary out there of him as well. I don't think that he's actually dead. I'm hoping that they kept him, but like I said, there's been word of this fake obituary going on. So back into it.
Okay, the Bohemian Grove, the Bushes go there. George C. and George, both of them are in the same agenda. They cousins with the Clintons. Okay, so is Donald Trump. He's also a distant cousin.
So how many people knew that Donald Trump is a distant cousin of not only the the Bushes, but the Kennedys? So that would explain. Let me run it back real quick just to make sure I heard right.
The Bushes go there. George C. and George, both of them are in the same agenda. They cousins with the Clintons.
Well, Clintons, okay.
So is Donald Trump.
Okay, so Donald Trump is actually kin to the Clintons. That would be Bill and Hillary Clinton. Or should I say just Bill Clinton. Really, Bill. It would make more sense that because let me think. Hillary's the one that's of German descent, I believe. So that would make more sense that he's somewhat of a cousin to Hillary because of her German descent, like him. Yeah. Majority of them are related. That's the crazy part. So it's not just the fact that they had to pass through Harvard and Skull and Bones. Majority of them are actually blood related. That's why the 13 bloodlines are so important with the Illuminati. You literally have to be of the bloodline to even be considered a president. So that should tell y'all all right there who's going to be president this time around. That should tell you right there. Hey, Miss Norma Dominguez, I didn't even see you up in here. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that as well. I greatly appreciate that as well. My apologies. I didn't even. I'm just down checking around on the chat as well. Well, yes, they all descend from, you said, Prince John of England. It's crazy how, like I said, that the bloodline, like I said, matters so much in politics. And if you notice, like I said, it's scattered throughout all of the nations as well. I think that's a good gauge on who exactly is in the United Nations and how you even get involved in being one of the leaders. Because if all the presidents have the same bloodline here, I'm guarantee you that it's a similar thing going on with all of the other nations.
Also a distant cousin. So if you see, there's a direct correlation of the presence of the United States being bonded between family ties, okay?
Gotcha.
All these family ties, while not go back to the same place, the royal family in England, okay? The family here of the Illuminati are descendants of the royal British family, okay? They have children between themselves. Why? Because it's they they have that issue. You understand? They want like superiority of the race.
Mm-hmm.
They see it that way, but it really it backfires on them because it makes them simple-minded. You understand? When you have sex with someone in your family, your kids are not gonna come out smart. You understand? They're gonna come out dumb. All right. So Donald turned his back, but he's still trying to negotiate a peaceful way out, and they have an agenda to kill him. Okay? Example, if you look at the Illuminati card games, example, okay? You look at the game.
Night, night. What it do, my brother? Good catch right there too. Donald Trump's son is Illuminati, and the son-in-law is married to Trump's daughter. Yes, they kept it all in the family. They kept it all in the family, right up under your nose. And I noticed that too. How they do a lot of incest marriages too with that, and people don't even notice that shit. They pretty much marry someone that's within the family. That's the dope part. How does he know so much? Well, mainly through Diddy. If he was a sex worker for Diddy, that's one of the main reasons. That's one of the main ways that he knows things. He pretty much was walking around, listening and seeing all this shit.
Illuminati card game.
I'm not familiar with it, so help me understand.
It's a card game
It's a card game.
that
Okay.
tells you
Also, I don't necessarily I don't think it's just Diddy. I think he was also he's been around pretty much. He's pretty much been around in different conversations. Remember, this guy was a agent that got caught. So think of him as like Agent 47 if you ever played Hitman. Or just think of your own, like I said, agent that's just out there, or assassin that's just out there just trying to get information and whatnot. That's pretty much what Jonathan Oddi is. Okay, he's pretty much an intelligence agent that got caught.
exactly what their agenda is.
Gotcha.
It's called mental pre-programming. That means that you predispose already. Once you play this, your mind is already predisposed at this happening, and you accepting it.
So what he's talking about now is the Illuminati card game that we have been covering. He's saying that the Illuminati card game was predictive programming, which I pretty much explained that as well. It was everything that happened in that card game pretty much happened in throughout history, all the way down from the 9/11 card, the buildings blowing up. That's a very blatant one. Buildings blowing up in the card, and it says terrorist nuke on it. Okay, that literally happened. And the game came out in 95. Okay, so the game came out 4 to 5 years before 9/11 even happened and had a card that literally said terrorist nuke on it with buildings blowing up. On top of it has cards with the Donald Trump's face on it that says enough is enough, or a charismatic leader with Donald Trump and the blonde hair president right there, right? It was a few different cards. I can go on all day. But it was a few different cards that just let you know that, they pretty much playing a game with the American people. And that's all we are. Leg appeal, what it do, my brother? I think he did it to go into police protection. Yes, that's exactly, I think, what he did as well. He planned to get caught. I think he pretty much planned to get caught to let this be known right here. Dancing Bear was a front for Chia to do sex trafficking. Now, see, the crazy thing is, yeah, I think you mentioned it earlier too, but yeah, that's another thing. If you do your work on if you do history on him, he used to be in Dancing Bear, and that was how Diddy actually got him. Diddy found him as a sex worker in Dancing Bear. Mm-hmm. All the Dancing Bear guys, they pretty much went rogue. They pretty much went rogue and was all suicidal supposedly and all fucked up. They pretty much sex trafficked all those guys through there. That shit is sad right there. That shit is sad. That whole industry right there. That you gotta be careful in that world in the porn industry in Hollywood.
Okay, so they have a picture of Donald dead in that game.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm not crazy. They have the picture of Donald dead, but they also had the Twin Towers. They had everything on there.
Gotcha.
Okay, from A to Z.
So think about that as well. What he just said. They have a picture of Donald dead in the card game. So I ain't gotta spell it out for you.
Kind of like a hidden agenda, which they try to make it open to our eyes, but we really don't see it. We're so busy working.
It's kind of like hidden in plain sight.
It's hidden.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the b.l.a.c. The
b.l.a.c.
The b.l.a.c. is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people. Okay. I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist.
Okay.
Okay, you my brother, so I like black people.
Okay.
My mom, I was raised by an African woman in my house. Okay. She was just a servant, but she was she took care of me.
Right.
So I love black people.
Okay.
I had settlement with Sean. Okay. And he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land all the contracts. It's these attorneys, which are Mark Garagos and b.l.a.c.
I'm gonna have to look at that. I think I know what you're talking about though. The Oompaville video with MK Ultra. I know what you're talking about though.
For 5, okay. When I take Sean the threat of death on me, okay. I don't have it, but I can make it available under secrecy. That means that I wouldn't be liable because I don't want to be getting framed for anything. Okay.
All right.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. Okay, for them that's what I was. That's all. All right. I caught herpes, and I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But they didn't.
See, he came back and won. He sued for herpes and came back and won. I remember hearing that shit. I said, "Oh, he the John Doe for Usher. He was the one Usher was trying to keep on the low. That would make plenty sense. That would make plenty sense because we know he be at the damn sex parties."
Mark Garagos and b.l.a.c. were his attorneys, okay? And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so. They gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible, I threw everything out, it's possible I can produce a copy.
Gotcha.
It's possible, I'm not sure. Now, how does this lead towards Donald Trump?
Okay.
The Mercedes family, Ben Mercedes, that works with Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos used to be Michael Jackson's attorney.
Yeah, out in Los Angeles.
Yeah. He had he drugged Michael and they OD'd him, okay? He didn't overdose. They OD'd him because they keep the royalties of the music. Michael alone made $860 million alone last year, okay, in 2017, which who keeps that royalty? The music companies. Who represents the media and entertainment in the United States? Most of them, Mercedes does. Kenny Mercedes, which is
Yeah, Ben and Ken Masalis, brothers, on the law firm. So they pretty much are. If you want to, for lack of better terms, they're the Illuminati lawyers. So they pretty much have been, conducting a lot of the business and moving a lot of the money, helping things get, helping with the investments of BlackRock and things of that nature. So I did notice that Ben Masalis is also an investor with Vanguard, I believe. The creator of the cartoon Simpsons is a 33rd. Yes, is a 33rd degree Mason. Yes. Um, Walt Disney. Walt Disney's also a Freemason. So majority of those people that own these, publications, a lot of them had to be, higher ranking Masons as well. Juju, I was just looking at that as well. That is a very interesting movie. It looks like about sex trafficking, and it looks very Jay Z Rihanna-ish, if you will. I'll say it like that. Just from the casting, it looks very Jay Z Rihanna-ish. If I'm thinking of Zoe Kravitz as Rihanna and the rich billionaire that takes her away, if you see what I'm getting at, you know. Um, but yes, I think I will check that movie out as well. A very enlightening movie. Um, what you said? Chill. Go over the Oompaville video about MK Ultra. Can't believe he went there. Yeah, yeah. I am as well. I am going to check out that one. I think I know what you're talking about too, the Oompaville one. I think I do know what you're talking about that though. Of course, MK Ultra. We all know what the MK Ultra. Well, some know what MK Ultra is, of course. Where if you go to like a concert, of course, right? Let's say, for example, you're at like a Taylor Swift concert and you might be in just this daze or a trance. Or even back in the days, you remember how Michael Jackson would just have people just faint just because his ass was just standing there and shit? That was MK Ultra. That wasn't just because he was just standing there and they would love him. That shit was MK Ultra. Let's see. Well, Marcellus was on DJ. Yeah. Yeah. Ben Marcellus is on Diddy's legal team, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Ben. Okay, Ben and Ken are father and son. Excuse me. I thought they were brothers. I had that part wrong. They look old enough to be brothers. That's the crazy part, right? They even though they father and son, the son don't look young at this point. Ken don't look young at his age, but yes, yes. It looks very mind eye, very right. That movie looks very Epstein Islandish. It definitely does. So that's what I said. I think I'm gonna check that out just for research purposes as well. But let me see. Did we play all Jonathan Adi? Yeah, I think Jonathan Adi's did he repeat? Oh, I think we did repeat. Okay, Jonathan Adi, I think did repeat. So what else I had here for us? Yes, wanted to take a trip to the Pensmore mansion. Want to take a trip to Pensmore mansion real quick. Okay, so we have been covering this Ozarks mansion over in Ozark, Missouri. So a while ago, a few years ago, Jesse Ventura actually took his team there. Now I wish I could show y'all the episode without me getting a damn uh, copyright strike and in trouble for showing the True TV network showing, of course. They actually went and embarked on an adventure going through the Ozark Mountains, right? Now, what caught me by surprise, and I'm just going to let you listen to this right here. What caught me by surprise about this whole ordeal was where this actually is.
In my book, I talk about Chateau Pensmore, and it's a real place, and it's in Missouri. I know what you're thinking. Why the hell would there be a chateau in Missouri?
And right then and there, my blunt damn near choked me to death because my black ass Where? Is right up here in St. Louis, Missouri. I said, okay, well, ain't but a drive or two for me. Ain't but a drive for me to go here. I said, well, shit. I might end up trying to go here one day just to see what's going on. Yes, I say that shit on camera. I don't give a damn. But yeah, I might try to see what's going on here one day. Now, of course, I'm not going to try to pull a what do you call it? A Bohemian Grove adventure. That ain't what I'm getting at. But I would like to take at least a tour around the neck of the woods, just for the simple fact that when Jesse Ventura took his team around the Ozark Mountains, the locals started saying that there was a lot of earthquakes and a lot of construction going on, a lot of tunnels being built, and yes, dancer. I'm not gonna pull a dancer. I'm not gonna pull a dancer. Trust me, I will not pull a dancer. That nigga dangerous. But stop saying where you're at. But no, hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. If they get me, they get me. I did it for a good cause. But and y'all remember me for it. Y'all remember me for it. That'll be why I do it. But anyway, a lot of construction, a lot of earthquakes, a lot of banks started opening up, and the locals started to be a little bit more concerned about things. And then this giant mansion started to be built, and people were wondering who owns this giant goddamn mansion called the Chateau Pensmore that finally has been built. Okay, now this is the gentleman that has actually owns it now, right? His name is Steve Huff. Okay, now Steve Huff is actually a former CIA Defense Intelligence. You heard it right. He's former CIA Defense Intelligence. So Steve Huff, born 1951, American billionaire businessman, astrophysicist, and inventor. After his career in the United States Army and CIA, he found defense intelligence related companies he eventually sold. He is building one of the largest homes in the U.S., Pensmore, and in retirement runs the Pensmore Foundation dedicated to philanthropy and volunteerism, quote unquote. Net worth is said to be around $2.5 billion. Now, again, why is a former 1970s CIA defense intelligence doing what is his last doing with a 74,000 square foot home? What is he doing with a 74,000 square foot home? This is the things that you have to start asking yourself when a CIA, former CIA from the 70s at that, very experienced defense intelligence agent owns a 74,000 square foot home in the middle of fucking nowhere. Just so it happens to have, gargoyles and shit. Like the goddamn Denver airport. But listen to Mr. Steve. After these ads, of course. I'm gonna mute the ad. But yes, as this says right here, it's very hard to imagine a private residence raising as much speculation as the Pensmore Mansion. But
how many rooms there are? I haven't thought of it in those terms for a while. It's about 70,000 square feet. Again, depends on how you count, what you count, but it's in the neighborhood around 70,000 square feet of space. The house is divided into two sections. There's what we call the guest wing, which has the transformed insulated concrete. And then we have the main part of the house, which has the transformed insulated concrete system but also has some additional energy saving features. So that in the same climate, we can compare the two. But the big goal is really to save energy, and what happens with this transform system is that we have a lot of what's referred to as thermal mass. That is, the house retains heat and retains it very efficiently. So we've been able to run the guest wing through the winter with a fraction of the amount of heating energy that would utility costs that would be required of a conventional structure. So there are a lot of things that go into that, but the primary parts of it have to be with the fact that the thing is extremely well insulated with 4 inches of styrofoam on the outside. So you don't get air blowing in through your outlets. It's very tight structure. It's very well insulated.
Time out. You know why? Hold up, chill. Have you enlightened me some? Oh, chill. So I went through life with glasses, prescription instead of looking through the what's given. Hey, watch that movie called I think it's called They with Roddy Piper. If you haven't seen that, that's exactly what you describing right there. I think it's called They. They Know. That's what it's called. They Know. That's what it's called. They Know with Roddy Piper. Yeah, that's the your guy that you saw at the U.S. Open. That's the guys you saw there. That's the guys you saw at the U.S. Open there. And I'm asking myself, okay, so you bought a whole mansion that's 74,000 square feet, right? You a former CIA defense intelligence, and you bought a 74,000 square foot home, or should I say, you developed from the ground up and built a 74,000 square foot energy sufficient home. You built the home just so it could be the biggest home with energy conservation.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
I don't believe you, sir. There's no way in hell you bought. They Live. That's what it was called. Not They Know. They Live. I know. I knew it was called a They. I can't remember what it was, but They Live with Roddy Piper. Yes, call that. Ain't no way in hell you bought a 74,000 square foot mansion and only used it for energy conservation. I was not born yesterday, sir.
And we have high thermal mass. It's about 2007 when we really got started, but when we're going to finish is a little hard to say, as we have research programs going on. So we have college students instrumenting, and we're trying to get through complete seasons with different phases of the heat.
Dog, that's the thing. You talking about some, you got different college students and whatnot living there. That's another thing that's bullshit, right? You got no damn college students staying there. What college students you got staying there? Skull and Bones or Harvard? Which one? On top of this, y'all see how high that shit is? Do y'all see how goddamn high up that shit is? Yeah, another thing, they got the tunnels down there. So my question is, what you doing, Israel Broom? What it do? So my question is, do you think that they will sentence Trump so that he can't be the next? No. In fact, they have already dismissed the charges. They have already dismissed those charges. He ain't going to jail. Now, he is already a convicted felon, but the other charge, yeah, that's what it is. They convicted him as a felon, but he ain't going to trial for a while for that shit. He gonna be that's another thing they did say live on the news, actually. Even though he is a convicted felon, he's still allowed to continue running for president. That ain't got nothing to do with him running for presidency. Which is by far blows the fuck out of my mind. How you can be a convicted felon and still run for president of the United States. But yeah, even if he was, the other charge, like I said, got dismissed. So even if he was to do any type of time, it's not going to affect him becoming president at all. Them sentencing him even for a week in jail won't affect him becoming president. What does it say well, I mean, not very much. Not very much. For the simple fact that he that's why he put out the documentary. If you think about it, Leave the World Behind. He was pretty much letting us know, hey, Donald Trump is y'all sign to get the fuck out of here. What it do, Mr. Miko Show? What it do? What it do? Peace, 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 and blessings. But that was pretty much Obama telling us to say, hey, Donald Trump is going to become president, but this is y'all warning that a cyber attack is going to happen, and y'all should probably run for the hills pretty soon.
Air operational. So I tend not to give a date for completion. The guest wing is essentially, it is complete now. It is done and very livable. The main part of the house will be at least another year and a half, because we are, say, going to run through a complete season with different phases of the heating system operational over there. Like the Ozarks, and I grew up in Missouri. My brother lived in this area for many years, and I like this area down here. The other reason, the technical reason, is because we get 4 seasons. So we get hot summers, and we've had some pretty cold winters. That lets us test the energy performance and test the transform system under a variety of circumstances and gather data.
The Pensmore Chateau, said to be the home of the elites pretty soon. This is the type of thing that people should pay attention to right here. Yes, we got to get out of here. Now, a lot of people have been saying go back to Africa. Me personally, I would like to go to Japan. I think I'm going to go to South Africa more than anything. I just hate spiders. I just want to let that be known. That's probably my only reason of not going to Africa, of not wanting to go to Africa. But then I'm like, damn, I can't, I can't avoid giant spiders in Japan or Africa. So either one, I'm going to see the deadliest one I ever seen in my life. Picking either one of them places. I thought about even Amsterdam. I thought about going to a place nobody thought about, Amsterdam. Weed is legal. They treat it with respect there, just like here in St. Louis. I would go to Amsterdam. Yeah, either South Africa or Amsterdam is where I would go. But the Obamas were trying to tell us, leave the fucking world behind, because pretty soon it is going to be them inside of this Pensmore Chateau mansion, pretty much running a dictatorship to us. That is pretty much the purpose of this Pensmore mansion being built, is that it is said to be the home of the elite soon. Now, just doing, a couple of, look-arounds on this, it was very alarming to me of how many things were actually, on this mansion. I might as well just get rid of that right there. I'll leave it up there for right now. But so another thing that stood out to me, right, is the fact that he's of Jewish descent, Steve Huff, right? How I know, he grew up in Scottsville, Virginia. As you see here, Shabbat candlelighting times for Scottsville. Very much so Jewish. They have Jewish descents in that neighborhood, of course. So Pensmore Chateau, the magnificent Pensmore Chateau, is a 72,000. Well, we saw what how big the shit is. Owner of the visionary, the resident Steve Huff. Okay, let's go down to a couple. So this is another thing that stuck out to me. So as Pensmore has developed, Steve and Pete have conferred in various ways as to how the Pensmore facility and its programs could highlight the historical and faith principles that have been so important for America's history. Out of these conversations have come plans to highlight the Liberty Tree in the iconography of Pensmore and the planning of the Liberty Tree Trail on the Pensmore grounds, in a dedicated history museum space that will highlight historical portraits of America's founders as well as other Providence Forum materials. What do you mean by you're going to do the planning of the fucking Liberty Tree as if you start? See, little shit like that lets me further know what it is y'all really trying to do. Because you doing a whole planning of the Liberty Tree lets me know it's the same thing that you've been doing with Denver Airport, where you have the time capsule. Remember the time capsule that read 2094, okay, to the inhabitants that would see this of Colorado in 2094, as if something is supposed to happen between now and then, that is some type of apocalyptic event, and where it, like I said, it's a time capsule that people just find. The planning of this Liberty Tree being in front of the Pensmore Mansion lets me know that there's going to be some type of landmarking for the elite. When I'm hearing about the planning of the Liberty Tree, I think of, who was it? Not George Washington. Was it George Washington? Who did the original? Was it Abraham Lincoln? It's one of the damn presidents. One of them damn presidents. But you know what I'm getting at. But this is pretty much marking a reset, is what I'm getting at. They are pretty much marking a reset at that Pensmore Mansion, saying that the elites are pretty much marking their territory here for dictatorship once again, and starting over with the planning of the Liberty Tree. And I'm like, wait, why y'all need to do that? This ain't. And see, that's the whole cover up for the whole energy conservation bullshit that they talk about. Okay, so a visitor's guide to symbols of Pensmore, renowned for its grandeur, remarkable architecture, and extraordinary energy efficiency and durable construction. It is designed to withstand the forces of nature for centuries to come. Look at that shit. Designed to withstand the forces of nature for centuries to come. Woven into the fabric of this project that was conceived, designed, and created by Steve Huff and members of his family are numerous symbols, emblems, and citations. Each of these, in varying ways, convey the ideals and values that have guided and defined his quest to create a center for study and dialogue on foundational issues of human existence. So, a couple of those symbols would be, so you have the Liberty Tree, of course, that's up there, right? But look what's also up there. You see the Hebrew symbol with the Liberty Tree? That Hebrew symbol is throughout the entire place. So let's break that down, right? So the visible symbols of the roof line are the mathematical symbol of pi and early American historic symbol of Liberty Tree. Pensmore roof line alternates these symbols of mathematics and history. These two symbols reveal Pensmore's commitment to science and liberty. So they even have Scientology in here as well. They're trying to pretty much, like, again, the hiding in plain sight for you. On the grounds on Liberty Ridge, you will also find one of the 14 seedlings germinated from the last surviving American Liberty Tree that was felled by Hurricane Floyd in Annapolis. Excuse me. Maryland in 1999. The other seedlings were planted by the Providence Forum in original. Now, look at this right here. The number pi is a mathematical constant, namely the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. So, why would you put pi in the tree of life together? So, because pi is the relationship of the diameter of the circle and circumference, the value of pi not only reflects the material world, but also the realm of the mind and pure mathematical thought. So again, this is pretty much him. Steve Huff was pretty much letting you know how much this is going to play into the elites actually having control in this actual house. It's a full 360 spectrum of them pretty much. And look at this right here. Thus the properties of pi suggest the very properties of God. So they're pretty much letting you know that they're going to be acting as God within this household here. And then by them planting that Liberty Tree right there, again, is the mark of their territory. Again, the hiding in plain sight that they're doing for you right here. So again, let's also go down to that same symbol. Now remember, what did they say? What they say about it? It was pi, right? Watch them change it up. Now look at this right here too, right? These are the all-seeing eye of God. I read that right to y'all. The all-seeing eye of God, representing the God, the Father, the agent of providence. The Alpha and the Omega, the symbols of Christ and the first and last of all human history. The dove as the symbol of the Holy Spirit. This Pensmore mansion getting darker and darker by the motherfucker. Okay, so Flora de Lis and then Troy Full. Mathematically, the Trinity is captured by the necessary, distinct yet complementary mathematical operations of addition and multiplication. When the three persons of the Trinity are considered the Trinity. So remember, they also play into that number three with this house. Of course, the Illuminati always plays the number 3, 13, shit like that. When the three persons of the Trinity are considered the Trinity is expressed by addition, 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. There are three persons of the Trinity, but when the unity of the Trinity is in view, multiplication is used to express the essential unity of the Trinity. Now, skip ahead real quick, right? Because that's a little that goes into a whole thing in itself. I wish I could play the movie Angels and Demons for y'all with the falsification of Christianity. That's pretty much what this is a subliminal at right here. But anyway, the role of scripture in showing how God is the source of liberty for mankind is captured in the Hebrew text of Lev 25:10 that is in the floor of the entrance to the garage. You see this Hebrew text right here? Dior in Hebrew? The verse, when translated into English, declares, proclaim liberty throughout the land to all of the inhabitants thereof. Literally says that. Proclaim liberty throughout the land to all inhabitants thereof. So remember that whole thing about Bohemian Grove and their whole thing about the cremation of care, for example, right? And when they were talking about the cremation of care and their whole war against it and getting rid of it, that's pretty much what they're talking about here with the whole freedom, in a sense, and proclaiming liberty throughout the land of the inhabitants thereof. But also, like I said, this is them pretty much saying that they have control over everything as well. The Hebrew word for the liberty dior. The theme of liberty is ever present at Pensmore throughout the Liberty Tree imagery. For example, a Liberty Tree and a dove are also found in the garage floor. They remind us of 2 Corinthians 3:17, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, as well as John 8:32. So notice how they're also playing on all these biblical references as well. So here again, you see the Liberty Tree, right? But I'm noticing there's a snake around it too. So this is more like an Ouroboros. If you know, all right, so come on up. So let me show you what an Ouroboros is real quick, if my Google will allow me. So the Ouroboros is an ancient symbol that depicts a serpent or dragon eating its own tail, forming a circle. The symbol is also known as the paradoxal serpent and is sometimes spelled Ouroboros. So when I looked at that and I was like, okay, there's an Ouroboros around the tree of life. So that's letting me know that it's also going to be the home of a reptilian here. You follow me? Why would you put the Ouroboros around the reptilian? Again, excuse me, why would you put the Ouroboros and it looks similar like this? See this one right here? Looks very similar to this actually. Which also has some text around it. But like I said, what I'm getting at is, again, the Pensmore Mansion is going to be home of the elites. So now, like I said, we can go on and on for days about the different. Look at this. The compass at Pensmore. The telescope represents Pensmore's scientific mission and desire to explore the cosmos, as always seen in Pensmore Working Observatory. Now, that's another thing that was talked about with this particular mansion is the fact that, okay, here's another thing, right? It has this big ass the observatory at the top that pretty much oversees everything, but not just oversees the land. It can it's pretty much to look in the galaxies in the cosmos. So what exactly are you looking up there for, unless you're trying to either signal for something or just look for something? Okay, we'll leave it at that. Bears, the symbol of strength and survivability of adversity. Lions are also in there. And then you have gargoyles are also in there. Okay, so we don't have to go into the gargoyles. We were talking about what the gargoyles are beforehand with Denver Airport. Circle of life. Yes, the circle of life. You see how everything just pretty much plays into each other with the symbols in there as well? It's it's just one of those things where you just, like I said, you start to really pay attention to the fact that we don't have much time left. We don't have much time left, and there are literally things being told to us that, that the apocalypse is not just the apocalypse is upon us, because that's nothing that's far fetched, right? Not necessarily the end of the world is upon us. It's just a certain reset of things that's about to happen. So when we get, say, for example, World War III happening, that's not saying that the world is ending and apocalypse is about to happen. When the cyber attack happens, right? That's not necessarily saying that the world is going to end either. These are just little lead ups happening to the apocalypse actually happening. Okay? Majority of us that are in this chat right now are going to be long dead and gone by the time the actual apocalypse happen, I hope. Some of us might be around for, the next viral attack that can cause maybe some zombies or something, because the CDC sort of spread that dumb shit that there could be a possible outbreak of that. Emil Mendez, what it do, my brother? Yes, duality. They're pretty much letting you know, of course, like I said, besides the not the cyber attack, they're pretty much letting you know that there's going to be some type of civil war happening with this election. They pretty much have put that in your brains that some type of bloodshed is going to happen, right? And you already know, Glenn, what it do, my brother? What it do? What it do? And then on top of that, you also know that there's a lot of psyops happening to you with Project Bluebeam, very evident. Okay, so like I said, there's little things that lead up to the actual apocalyptic event, but for the most part, it's still going to be a long, long list of different things before we even get to, say, for example, the seven trumpets that signal the trial of tribulation. It's a lot that's going to happen before that. It's a lot that's supposed to happen before that. So, like I said, that was my thing with this Pensmore mansion here. Oh my goodness, I don't know why that's a symbol up there, but yeah, what was this right here? Oh, this was the article from let me refresh this right here. So this was the article that I found about the concentration camps. As I was doing some research on Steve Huff, and I was like, okay, where is he actually from and shit like that. And it showed up as one of his reviews. Damn, I don't know why the pictures don't want to show up now. Yeah, so this is like the concentration camps and shit. Trying to see, it was one particular picture that I was trying to show y'all that was on here. It was the concrete. So pretty much what they would do, and reason why I was looking at this is because they talked about this actually being one of the exhibits inside the Pensmore mansion. And I'm like, there ain't no goddamn exhibit. Y'all literally trying to tell us that there's going to be a concentration camp inside this bitch. But there's a picture of this. There it is right here. So this is literally where people would have to go take a shit or piss. They are pretty much forced to take a shit or piss in front of each other like this. I couldn't even fathom having to take a shit or piss in front of everyone, let alone sit on concrete. I don't know what's coming out of that hole, going in that hole. I know it's coming out of mine. I don't know what can crawl up in it. So God bless the people that had to have gone through this. God bless those people right here. For real, for real. But yeah, man. As I always say, man. Oh. Now I know what almost forgot. I know what I almost forgot. So remember when we was talking about the alien? When we did the alien interview at Area 51, and the gentleman talked about Donald Rumsfeld, and he kept saying that if anybody, chill, do I gotta start over? I just came. Did I miss anything? Well, kind of. Kind of there, Glenn. I'm not even gonna lie to you, kind of. But yeah, I don't know if you could summarize that one quick, baby. I'm just saying. But yeah, but not really, not really. Anywho, let me just read some of the things Russia has going on here too. Wow, sweet. First one, next generation, popular two, and this crap. So if you can have the freedom to do, yeah. So you can have the freedom to do what you want, but at the same time, there is going to be a dictatorship with that as well. Yes, definitely. Um, I ran to a guy. We need to get our money and build underground home like that family. Yeah, I agree there. I agree there. Too much reality. I agree there. We definitely do. We definitely do. I wish I could do that. I wish I could put it like this. If I had $10 million, I would definitely buy a Pens. I would make a Pensmore mansion and put all of us the fuck in it. Make an underground bunker and put us right all up in it. Make our own little hollow earth. God damn it. Now we might have to fight off some shit that's down there. You know, I won't try to make no tunnels or nothing like that. But I definitely will look out for my people and build my own Pensmore mansion and put everybody in it. That's what I would do. But so Louis C.K. actually interviewed Donald Rumsfeld. And the gentleman was, like I said, when we covered the alien in Area 51, if you guys remember, he talked about Donald Rumsfeld pretty much knowing a lot about, not just the CIA intelligence information of the aliens, but him pretty much having a lot of alien knowledge himself. And Louis C.K. in an interview, as you see here, it reads, repeatedly asked him if he was a lizard alien. So Donald Rumsfeld has been all over the media to plug in his new book. And yesterday he surfaced on the Opie and Anthony show where comedian Louis C.K. happened to ask the guest over the protestations of the psychophantic host. Lewis repeatedly pressed the former defense secretary on whether he's a flesh-eating lizard person. It starts around the 2:30 mark. Now I have the whole thing right here, of course, so we don't have to worry about no 2:30 mark. But one of the main reasons I'm talking about this is if you look at just even a picture of Donald Rumsfeld, don't this nigga look like he might be reptilian? I'm just saying. His old ass do look like he could possibly very much be reptilian. And just looking at him saying that, I said, okay, maybe this ain't too far fetched. Maybe this ain't too far fetched at all. But this is Louis C.K. asking him specifically.
It's interesting though, because there are people who think. I mean, here's a guy who, met Eisenhower as a congressman, right?
I was running for Congress, exactly.
And worked for Ford and Nixon and Reagan and both Bushes. And there's still those people out there that think, Rumsfeld and Dick Cheney are actually lizards. Who, I mean, literally, there's people that think they're lizards from outer space.
Yeah, that's true.
Who eat human flesh. I don't know if anybody's ever asked you directly, sir, but are you a lizard?
I don't think
Are
he's a
you
lizard.
actually? Can you just please give that a straight answer? Are you a lizard person?
Louis a
Let
little
him answer.
left-leaning,
No,
sir.
I'm not. Let him
the short
answer. Are you a lizard?
Here's the short answer. I'm in New York City. I walk down the street. People walk up, shake hands, stop me. They want an autograph.
He's a lizard.
Want to get a photograph with me. Go to eat last night at dinner, and Joyce and I were sitting there in the little Italian restaurant. and a man came up and said he'd like to buy my dinner, and I refused. And it turns out I paid for my dinner. The next thing I know, the waiter comes back and said the man insisted to pay for your dinner, and here's your canceled receipt for paying.
Oh, wow. That's very
See,
nice.
there's plenty of people that.
But he's
You didn't answer the question. That was-
Exactly. Very Freemason. Like, he didn't answer the question. He didn't deny the shit either. But yeah, Donald Rumsfeld did die years ago. He died supposedly of health complications. I mean, the guy was up there in age as well. But in my opinion, I don't even know if he actually died. If we're talking about people asking him if he's a fucking lizard, alien, reptilian, you know, needless to say, we got bunkers and shit. Who's to say he actually passed away? But anyway, who asked me that earlier? Oh yeah, the Bible that one we trust will be the answer. Yes. So if you remember, I'll leave the world behind. Left Behind, the Left Behind series that specifically harps on Revelations. They actually talk about that, specifically the Antichrist being the one that we trust, and Project Bluebeam specifically harps on that as well, where the end goal result is from order out of chaos. Okay, so the order will be the dictator, pretty much, and whoever that dictator is pretty much going to be our leader. But that is pretty much the goal of everything right there. And yes, if you think about it, Donald Trump could very much be that Antichrist right now, because it's supposedly the one that everybody trusts. Hell, a lot of my people are just absolutely fooled by what he's supposedly promising. Even though he has Project 2025 out, you still voting for him as a black person. I don't understand. I just don't understand. Amazing recap, by the way, Fear B. Amazing recap, by the way. Amazing recap. Let me see here. Yeah. Obama's related to the president. Yes. We covered that also earlier. The Obamas are so majority. Would you say, Freebie? Majority of them are related, except for like two of them, I believe. But yes, majority of the presidents are connected by bloodline, and that's actually part of the 13 bloodlines as well. And I actually had a theory also that I'm going to follow up on, which if the bloodline is so tight synced with America, I can only imagine that the United Nations has a very similar pattern into which all of those bloodlines are very much connected. Not all the bloodlines in the United Nations, but as far as the leaders are concerned, I wonder if their heritage and lineage are all connected throughout history. Each one of the leaders, say for example, Putin. It seems like he's never even given away his power before. Have y'all ever heard of any other Russian president besides Putin? I don't think so. How long have they been trying to kill Putin to take away his power? Think about that. Putin literally came over here just to get away because they were trying to kill him in his own country, to dismiss him. So that tells you right there. But yeah, Donald Rumsfeld repeatedly asked if he was a lizard, and he still ain't denied yet.
I think you're hanging around with the wrong people.
He's not going to dignify an answer to "Are you a lizard, Louis?"
Why not?
Because he's not a lizard.
What is the story about getting somebody paid for your dinner? I would pay for a lizard's dinner.
I think I understood the fact that there are people out there that appreciate what he's done as a leader. And
there's plenty of evidence that this guy is a well-decorated and appreciated American. And he has more credibility than almost anybody.
Exactly.
But I just want to know if he's a lizard.
He's not a lizard. Stop it. I want to apologize, Mr. Rumsfeld. Louis C.K. is a stand-up comedian, and I do not share his ideology one iota.
Matter of fact, we're meeting him for the first time. We don't even really know him. So we apologize.
Exactly.
It's usually just me and Anthony, but we said, what the hell, we'll try out this local comic.
Mr. Rumsfeld, I want to ask you a little bit about the situation that's going on now in the Middle East. You are an envoy to the Middle East. What do you see happening there? What's your take on the whole situation?
Well, I think what's happening is that we had good relations with many of the governments in there, in that region, and it was contributing to a stable situation with respect to the generally hostile attitude towards Israel, organized and very vicious, like Hezbollah in Lebanon, and or like the Ayatollahs in Iran.
Yeah.
So you could get the Muslim Brotherhood.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Radical extremists.
Exactly.
Over Egypt, which would be terribly dangerous.
Absolutely.
Listen, and these are great questions, Anthony, and they're questions that that Mr. Rumsfeld is going to answer better than almost anybody in the world.
Yeah.
I still want to know if he's a lizard.
And if he is, stop it.
If he's tasted human flesh.
No, stop.
I just want to know.
Mr. Rumsfeld, again, I want to apologize for Louis C.K. He's a stand-up comedian. He's playing at the Borgata.
It's
go to
a legitimate. Look, if he's a lizard who has eaten people,
don't encourage him. It'll just make him worse.
See, and
I will stop the
Mr.
second
Rumsfeld.
I get a denial. I'll stop asking.
Tell Louis that my grandchildren are listening.
See?
Well, listen, they have a right to know, too.
No, he's not a lizard, and he's not tasted human flesh.
But you're answering. That's easy for you to say.
I can answer because I know the guy is a great American, a great patriot.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
He's done great things for this country. And
yes, Anthony. Is he a lizard? Is Dick Cheney a lizard?
No, they're not. They are people.
Any Mexican babies? Have they eaten any human beings?
Stop it. Stop it. I know. Mr. Rumsfeld, I apologize.
It's like, while all this is jokes, it really isn't, considering the facts.
Louis C.K.
I paid for this microphone, mister. I want an answer.
I don't understand it. Where do you see the where do you see the 2012 elections going? Do you see the Republicans taking the White House again? And who do you see as maybe a good front runner for the Republicans?
You know, I don't think there is one. I think it's one of those rare times when there's not an incumbent president running, and there's not a vice president running, and there's not an obvious person. And I think what we ought to do is watch them run around the track a while and see how they handle things. It's a tough job, and we're going to then be able to see how their brains work, how they react, how they handle things, what kind of people they recruit for their campaign team, how effective they are in organizing. And all of those are attributes that are helpful for a president.
Before the Lizard Council meets and decides who to appoint.
The Lizard Council doesn't appoint a president, and he's not part of the Lizard Council.
If they do, don't you want to know?
No.
Don't you at least want to give him a chance to say, no, I'm not a lizard?
I don't want to picture Donald Rumsfeld on the other end of this phone listening to you asking
with red
lizard
eyes.
No, he's not with red. Mr. Rumsfeld.
Imagine if he was a giant lizard on the other end of the phone, just listening to that shit, chuckling right there, too, though. Imagine that.
Generation and future generations, unless people have the courage to step up and deal with it.
What was it like when you met? There's a picture of you shaking hands with Saddam Hussein. Like, what was that day like? The day you met that dude.
Oh, that famous picture.
The dude who later was hung in a badly lit room.
I tried to tell Louis that was indeed during the time when he was
I'm just curious what that day was like.
And was, okay.
I'm just curious. What was that like to meet that fella?
Fair enough.
Well, it was. I was in Baghdad at the request of President Reagan, and I kind of describe this in my book. I met the night before with Tariq Assis, the deputy prime minister, and then the next morning I was invited in to be with Saddam Hussein. And the reason that Secretary Shultz and President Reagan and I all agreed that it made sense was Saddam Hussein was in a war with Iran and had taken our embassy people hostage and was very hostile to the United States. The United States did not have diplomatic relations with Iraq, and the thought was that we, you know, the old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right.
How did we manage to get crossways with the two big countries in that region, both of them, and yet they were hostile to each other?
Right.
So we felt that it was a good idea to see if we could reestablish relations, and that ultimately was done shortly after my visit. Now, what was it like? You walk in, there's a Middle Eastern despot. Is he a good guy or a Democrat? No. He's a thug, and he's in fatigues, and he's got a pistol on his hip, and he's a tough guy and not a good guy.
Thank you for the cash app. That was greatly appreciated. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ms. Broom.
Look around the world. You know, there are not a lot of George Washingtons or Abraham Lincolns. We have to deal with people who aren't perfect on occasion.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to tell Louis.
And then, so how many guys do you think you've met that died by hanging?
Oh, Jesus, Louis.
Good question.
Yeah, more than one.
Yeah.
More than one.
More than one. See?
Yeah. I've never met anybody I met a girl who hung herself. But I've never met anybody who was sentenced to hanging.
He's had to deal with thugs during his
political systems, and that means that we have got to have intelligence gathering activities if we're going to protect the American people.
Exactly.
But American safety is like the biggest deal to us. American defense. We've got to keep the American people safe. But what if a whole lot of people in other places have to die in order for us to be safe? Like, what if you found out that a lot of America was going to get hurt unless we just took France and
have a good night. Too much reality. Have a good night.
France?
Hypothetical.
Would you trade France for Texas and Arizona?
Can you imagine if I answered that question?
Thank you.
But the news lead would.
So he pretty much was answering questions, but just going around them. I know some of y'all are probably a little bit, we're defragged at this point with this one. But what I was really getting at with Mr. Donald Rumsfeld was he actually had this matrix that pretty much lets you know that, pretty much could give you proof that he is some type of, alien, in my opinion. So he created this matrix that was pretty confusing to people, but it was called the Rumsfeld Matrix. In 2002, during a press briefing about the Iraq War, Donald Rumsfeld famously divided information into 4 categories. He called it known knowns, known unknowns, unknown knowns, and unknown unknowns. Yes, I know that sounds confusing as fuck. But that is literally what he called all 4 of the categories. These distinctions became the basis for the Rumsfeld Matrix, a decision-making framework that maps and evaluates the various degrees of certainty and uncertainty. So basically, it's his own little CIA way breakdown of trying to say we have we have alien intelligence information, but we cannot explain it to you because we don't know what the fuck it is yet. So the first one, known knowns. These are facts or variables that, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because I know it's getting late for some of y'all. These are facts or variables that we are aware of and understand. They form the basis of our knowledge and provide a solid foundation for decision making. Known unknowns, these are factors we know exist but don't fully understand. This is where I knew he was at the alien shit again. These are factors we know exist but don't fully understand. They represent gaps in our knowledge that we must address through research, investigation, or consultation with experts. Again, we got shit we know about. We just can't tell y'all because we can't explain the shit our damn selves. So we hiring some people to figure it the fuck out and tell us, but they can't figure it the fuck out either. That's basically what they're trying to say. Then it gets to the third category of the unknown knowns. These are elements that we don't realize we know. So pretty much, again, the telepathy. This one's getting into the telepathy part. They're typically buried in our subconscious, overlooked, or dismissed as irrelevant. Uncovering these insights can lead to surprising breakthroughs in decision making. Again, this is the telepathy part, in which they're again focusing on not only Scientology, but focusing on the human psyche itself and pretty much the study and research of our human psyche. Thus, social media, why Mark Zuckerberg is so important and why he has to have Meta now with integrate Instagram and Facebook and shit like that. It's pretty much just to stay on top of everybody else. Okay, unknown unknowns, the fourth one. These are factors that we're not aware of and can't predict. They represent the most significant source of uncertainty and risk as they can catch us off guard and derail our plans. Now, look at that part. As they can catch us off guard and derail our plans. So, pretty much, this is them preparing for. This is them preparing with the Pensmore Mansion for the apocalyptic event. That's the main purpose of having Denver Airport in place. Denver Airport in place. Then you have the Grand Canyon is right there with all of the temples right across the way. Then you have the Pensmore Mansion right across the way, of course, in Missouri. It's no coincidence that everything is right around the Midwest area. Okay. If you go straight down, literally straight down through New Mexico, you hit Mexico. You go past Mexico, you start to hit the waters. Once you hit the waters, you go over the waters, you have fucking Antarctica. It's no coincidence that all that shit is connected at one time like that. It's no coincidence to why all this shit is connected. It's one of those things where you just start to put all the dots together now. Denver Airport is in place for the gathering of everybody. Pensmore is for everybody's placement. That's literally how this is going to work. Of course, while you have the Grand Canyon and Antarctica being its own thing, having their own bases. Because as we saw in Iron Sky Coming Race, Antarctica pretty much is where they are hiding. You thought Area 51 was had a lot of alien shit. Antarctica is where they have everything buried. Antarctica is where they have every fucking thing buried. So, what are your thoughts about the locusts in Nevada a couple of years ago? Let me see something. Because if you're talking about the locust outbreak that happened, was that what it was? It was a locust outbreak, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Okay. It was. You talking about this? No, not this. Where is it? Was that what it was? The Mormon crickets outbreak? You talking about that? If you're talking about the outbreak that happened in Nevada, that's pretty much proof to you that they had. Okay, so Nevada is said to be where Area 51 actually is. So when I saw that, anytime I hear about some type of outbreak with any animal happening and it's in Nevada, I'm already saying to myself, okay, something got loose. That's the first thing I'm thinking about. Something got loose. Someone wasn't on their job, the security with the cages, and someone got loose that they were experimenting on. Luckily, we haven't caught anything that actually has anything that, has been injected yet. I'll say it like that. But that's just my hops as far as that goes. Whenever I hear about an outbreak in Nevada, it's no different than when I see Florida in the news. I know I'm about to see some crazy shit. Whenever I see Florida in the news, shout out to Florida. I know I got some Floridians in here, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Anytime I see Florida, I know something crazy has happened. That's why GTA 6 is based on Florida. It's the home of crazy. This is how they got away with saying they were WMDs in Iraq, even though everyone knew they didn't. Yeah, pretty much. And that's not the reason why, like I said, it was important for me to even talk about the Rumsfeld Matrix, was because, the Rumsfeld matrix it's one of those things where it's very Freemason like, and as you heard how he even talks, he pretty much will give you an answer, but it's an answer going around the answer. So he's trying to say he's responding to you and giving you an answer, but you just have to read in between the lines to what the actual answer is. That's what the Rumsfeld matrix is even about. They pretty much let you know what the fuck they're going to do and how much they know without actually specifically telling you, yet this is what we know. That's why the 4 categories we've been broken down the way they are. Like, look, we got shit, we know shit, we got to pay people to find out shit. Until we find out shit, we can't necessarily tell you nothing. Even if we do find out, we might not tell you that either. As you've seen how government works.